The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
You're listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Listener discretion is advised at all times.
Thank you for once again listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show, part of the Social Suplex Podcast Network. My name's Clive and I'm joined by Ricky. How are you this evening, Ricky?
Yeah, good evening. I'm doing quite well. Yourself?
I'm alright, thanks. You're not sounding too well though.
No, got a bit of a chest infection and, so I'm not exactly feeling the greatest at the moment, but yeah, I'll soldier on.
Good. So apologies in advance for any coughing. I do not have the technical prowess to edit out any coughing, so just feel sorry for Ricky throughout the show. So before we get to the topics of the podcast tonight, I just want to give a shout out to the competition entrants for last week. We talked about people entering a competition to win a t-shirt, and due to the fan response we decided to go for two winners. So congratulations to Lords of Pain main page columnist Sir Sam. You've won yourself a t-shirt, and also Twitter handle Did Ye Can Ye. So congratulations to both of you. We'll be in touch with regards to getting a t-shirt of your choice to you in the near future. So what do you want to talk about then, Ricky?
I mean, first of all, just congratulations to the two winners. Well, we may as well continue. We'll start talking about what's taking place on Friday, because obviously on the face of it, wrestling card wise, it's top to bottom. The card is just about flawless in terms of the quality of wrestling matches we may be getting. But there's obviously a lot of controversy surrounding the actual card itself and the location of the card. And I know, obviously, you speaking privately, like you said, you had a few things you wanted to say about it.
Mm-hmm. Right. May as well just start off early doors then and address the elephant in the room, alright?
Pretty much.
Right. I will preface this by saying I am not, or I'll try not to go down the political, religious, cultural stance that Saudi Arabia have regarding women. That's an argument that I would personally be ill-equipped to either start or even maintain. In the grand scheme of things, I'm pretty ignorant of what's true and what isn't true and what would offend people and what wouldn't. But my concern isn't about WWE doing a show in Saudi Arabia. It's about WWE flat out omitting the women from the show. What I do know, what I can see in front of me, is that in the last few years, the women's revolution in the WWE, it's not just a storyline on screen. It was, and it is real. That revolution, that was all about giving women equal footing in WWE, and we have begun to see that. They're main eventing takeovers, main eventing pay-per-views in the main roster. They've been given gimmick matches, or genre matches, whatever you want to call them. This year they had a Royal Rumble. They had a women's battle royal at WrestleMania. Ronda Rousey was the biggest commercial selling point of Mania this year, and there's even rumours already of women main eventing WrestleMania next year. This revolution, or whatever you want to call it, it has been about the women within WWE being treated equally. Now they're starting this commercial venture, a cash grab, in a country where women aren't treated equally. Whether it's culture, religion, politics, doesn't matter. It's what they're doing. I'll touch on the possible changes later, but at the moment they're diametrically opposed to the vision that WWE are trying to impose on people at the moment. This questionable PR stunt is hot off the heels of the stuff that happened with Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal for WrestleMania. So they may be showcasing women at the forefront alongside the men, but I think these daft decisions I think it's daft decisions that are coinciding with these commercial milestones, and I think they're a problem. said at the start, this isn't an attack in Saudi Arabia, because I'm not clued up that much. But as a complaint, WWE's one step forward, one step back mentality, in an attempt to rake in more cash from the Eastern Hemisphere, which worked wonders last year with Big Bad Jinder Mahal, the modern day mammary gland enhancer. Your thoughts?
Right. First of all, if I cough or I'm not, like, you can't understand what I'm saying, I apologise. Let's say I'm not feeling the greatest now. Just a quick question, right, to you, and obviously the listeners when they hear on, right, what is the premise of any business in the world? Like, I understand you have many goals and etc, and you want to survive, you want to do this, etc, and so on and so forth. But ultimately, what is the be all and end of any business?
It's to make money.
To
make moolah, to make fabulous moolah.
Exactly. Not particularly her, but you want to make as much money as possible. And I read something on Twitter, and I don't know who reported it, so I'm not going to put a name to it, but I definitely read it, that basically WWE at the moment are in a position where they don't really need, like, all that much investment from outside companies or outside organisations, or if they don't need that much money pumped into it, they don't need to, because they're already making an absolute shed load of money. There is no such thing as having too much money when it comes to business or just in life in general. I'm not saying that, like, you should be greedy and that's all you should be concerned about. It should be, but when it comes to a business, at the end of the day, you just want to keep making as much as you can, because you just don't know, one day that might just come to an abrupt halt. So for me, the premise of any business is making money. Obviously, there's decisions goes into it in terms of how do you go about making that money, and where does that money sort of come from? Like certain stakeholders, do you accept money from certain people or certain places? That just sort of comes into, like, your sort of as a human being. Like, how can you only accept that money knowing where it's come from? So, like, for wrestling aspect, as I says, what's going to take place on Friday, for a pure wrestling aspect, I cannot wait. Each match appeals to me greatly. Like, I understand the 50-man Royal Rumble, of what are you going to get, like a trophy or a pat in the back? It's effectively, it's meaningless, but as I've said previous on the podcast, I've said to you privately, like, everyone sort of has that match for whatever reason. They just seem to appeal to that match. That seems to sort of, it's like in the Royal Rumble / Battle Royals are mine, that even if there's no real implications on it, nothing riding on it, I still like to watch them. That's why I'd like to watch the 2 Battle Royals at WrestleMania, even though they ultimately mean nothing. And that's the same with this Friday. So for a pure wrestling aspect, I'm really looking forward to it. And we can sit here and we can say so many things about Saudi Arabia, the country and the culture, etc. Like, Triple H came out, I don't know if you saw what he said. Basically, Saudi Arabia's changing and WWE's trying to play a part in helping them change, etc, etc, and people are bashing Triple H for coming out and saying those kind of things, when the reality is, like, he, along with some, like, the women wrestlers, he's been at the forefront of this women's revolution, because it all really started with, like, AJ Lee, etc, but a lot of the women you see now come through NXT, and it's Triple H's NXT who's giving them that spotlight, because women's wrestling nowadays is about the wrestling as opposed to what they look like. So, but if people are not really understanding it, it's like, those words are clearly not Triple H's. That's clearly come up from someone in the PR department or from Vince, and he's just saying those things. So that's number one. That he seems to be getting a lot of heat and a lot of grief for that. I've also saw tweets talking about how WWE is now in bed with the evil that is Islam. Like, I saw tweets like that, and I was going to start taking screenshots of them and stuff like that to show you, but you can just put that into Twitter and you'll see stuff like that. You can put it into Google or whatever you want and you'll see stuff.
If that's the case, I'll let you continue, but if that's the case, then so the number 50 entrant of the Greatest Royal Rumble will be none other than Muhammad Hassan then?
Obviously, and he's going to win it. So, like, for the ignorant idiots out there, right, that don't seem to comprehend or want to understand or haven't done any sort of background check on it, and I know you says you're not going to delve into it because you don't have the knowledge and you've not checked into it, and I respect that, but you and I know, right, my religion, you and I both know my ethnicity, and for people that don't know, I am Muslim, I'm of Pakistani heritage, right, but in Saudi Arabia is an Islamic country, but there's a difference between Islam and a difference between cultural beliefs and Sharia law. This is where it falls into. It falls into the culture as opposed to the religion. They are two completely different things. So when people talk about how there's a lack for women's rights in Saudi Arabia, or the better way to say it is the lack of women's rights, that isn't an Islamic thing, that's a fucking cultural thing. So you've got people who are distorting the truth by making these slanderous accusations, and it's like, do some digging up, just read a few books, read a few articles, and you'll understand. Saudi Arabia, yes, an Islamic country, but Saudi Arabia is a country. They do things that even other Arab countries do not do. And we can go through and name them if we want, but they do things that even Iran don't do. And Iran are supposedly like the real bad guys, and I'm not going to sit here and defend or say they're good guys or anything. That's not what we're here to talk about. But they do things that even other Arab countries, other Muslim countries don't do, and they're one of the few countries out there that still practice and enforce Sharia law. Sharia law is not a religious thing, it's a cultural thing. That's what is really annoying me, seeing things like that. It's just ignorant tweets and ignorant people with their points of view, and it's like, just do a bit of research and you'll understand they're two completely different things. Like what they're saying about how women are treated, etc. in Saudi Arabia. It's true. It's completely true. Like, it can't be denied. But what also can't be denied is there's a new government in place, a new prince in place, and what they're doing is they're trying to transition from what they were to what they want to become, and what they want to become is basically like how we are in Britain or America, like a Western country, how women have got rights and people of whatever gender or whatever race or whatever your sexuality might be, they're progressing. I understand that it's 2018 and like we should now not be progressing to that. Like, it should just be fully accepted and embraced by everyone. Unfortunately, it's not, but they're trying to move in the right direction. And the other thing, I saw things like someone says, I know Renee Young obviously is not going to be, so there's absolutely no women on it, and it'll be interesting to see even if Stephanie McMahon's there, which I doubt she will be. So I saw tweets like, oh, they should just get the women to go over and they should have put a women's match on and just let them dress the way they like. And it's like you can't go into someone else's country, regardless of what you think of that country and what their culture is, and enforce your culture on them. We can't, like, it's the same with people coming over into Britain. Like, when you come to Britain, you must embrace the way, the British way of life, or whatever that may be. It's the same if you go to America, you must embrace the American way of life, and whatever that is, like, everyone has a different answer to that. So why would you put the women in such an awkward position by taking them over there? Again, that's just ignorant, and you've not done any kind of research. So my main point about all this is, like, I understand what a lot of people saying about Saudi Arabia is true, but they're mixing religion and culture up, and it is complete and utter bullshit, and it's completely wrong. I disagree having an all male pay-per-view, right?
Mm-hmm.
But even just 3-4 years ago or whatever, there was no such things. Like, you would rarely have like public events taking place in Saudi Arabia unless it wasn't some sort of execution because of Sharia law. Like, what I'm talking about is like when it's concerts or anything like that. They were few and far between. And there was a post from our guest who was on last week. He tweeted something up because I think he was putting an article out on Lords of Pain, and he found a letter, something on Reddit. I tried to look at it again, but that on the Reddit, that thread's been deleted. But I took a screenshot of it, and it's basically someone from Saudi Arabia who is speaking about what's happened and what they're trying to achieve and where they're trying to go, and they're actually trying to move forward. Like I said before, they should have got here by now, but they haven't. But they're trying to make those progressive steps to get where the rest, quote unquote, the Western world is. So, that may not, on the surface, it may seem very bad, but at least they're trying to progress. And to go back to the whole all-male pay-per-view, quote unquote, house show or whatever it is, I don't agree with that. But you need to accept it is a cultural thing over in Saudi Arabia at the moment, because that could change. As I've said, you cannot go to somewhere else's country and enforce your belief and your way of living on them and force them to change their way of living to accommodate you. It should never work like that. So, I'm just going to quickly try and wrap up here because I went on a wee bit. The all-male pay-per-view, in that sense, makes sense because the way women are perceived at the moment over there and what they can and can't do. But we're in 2018 and that kind of thing shouldn't be happening at the moment. And I've also saw tweets that people say, right, well, now they should now promote or announce an all-women's pay-per-view in a different country for next week. Like, no, just no. That's for me, that's one of the dumbest things anyone can say. Why on earth would you have just an all-women's pay-per-view, right? Just to save face on which is somewhat some bad news you're getting in the moment. So you'll say, right, we'll just put a women's pay-per-view on just to sort of save face. No, but at a point where the women have merited that. So for me, I would wait and then actually give them it. So at least on the face of it, when you announce it a year later, at least you're thinking, oh well, the Saudi Arabia thing's away in the past. At least it's not a knee-jerk reaction to that. So on the face of it, it kind of looks like they're giving it more merit, but deep down we probably know why they were doing it in the first place. They're not going to give it more merit, which is a damn shame. But even that, I don't really support an all-women's pay-per-view in 2018 either. Just I don't support an all-males pay-per-view. For 2018, we should, men and women, we should all be treated the same. We should be treated equally. And for anyone that's going to get on my back about saying no to an all-women's pay-per-view, for me, there's valid reasons, because you're not giving it on merit, and they deserve it on merit. But, and you will back this up, I have long maintained, even before Charlotte came onto the main roster, that when it's all said and done, she will mean to women's wrestling what her dad means. I said it on the podcast a few weeks ago, and you'll also attest that Charlotte is one of my, if not my most favourite wrestler in wrestling at the moment. If she's not my favourite, she's my top 3. So it's not even I hate women sort of thing. It's the complete opposite. I'm just thinking that you would only do such a thing just to sort of save face, and to me that's quite weak and pathetic. You would do something like that then. But like I said, for me, the bottom line is a lot of people out there making stupid remarks and not doing enough research into what the difference between religion and cultural upbringing and religious and cultural views are. They're two different things, and for Saudi Arabia, it's a cultural thing as opposed to a religious thing.
Right, a few points. You've kind of answered a few of my questions, right? So you have taken the wind out my sails, and you're obviously well equipped to have this argument, so I'll hand you that. You mentioned Imp's article. I've actually got a small paragraph from that I'd like to quote. Shout out to Imp, he actually did quite a lot of research into this and he's put forward a very good argument. So, this is what Imp said at one point. Firstly, They have begun to change a wide number of rules/laws. A couple were pretty much redundant, but were seen as positive changes, others more drastic shifts. And yes, I'll start with their alterations in regards to women's rights. In September, it was announced that women will be allowed to drive from June 18. A little later, they were told in short time women will no longer need permission from men to go out by themselves. And in January, women attended their first soccer matches. Girls are now allowed to participate in physical education lessons, attend a wide range of events, with the women's cycling race taking part earlier this year. Women's rights are still a way off from Western standards, but this isn't the West and change takes time. Right, okay. Where is it? Also, right, so he said there was a women's cycling race taking part earlier this year, right? So, why, if they're doing women's cycling races, why can't they have women on this show?
I don't know.
Right.
So I can't. I'll. Whenever you raise a point, I'll try and counter it.
Okay.
I don't even know if the WWE approached them about doing a women's match. So that's never come out. So I'm assuming they never even bothered approaching them about doing this match. Or perhaps this was agreed so long ago, even before all these changes started coming into place in Saudi Arabia, that this was all already agreed, and obviously it was just announced like in the last couple of months or whatever. Unless it was agreed like a year ago or 6, 7, 8 months ago, and that's what they've just stuck with. I don't know. For me, I don't know even if WWE have bothered to ask about the women being on it, and even at that, they might have allowed women on it, but some of the women might have been like, no, we're not comfortable going, which is completely understandable.
Right.
So I can't really give too much of an answer on that.
Okay, right, that's fair enough. The next question I think you have already answered. Saudi Arabia's culture is different from other Arab nations, right? Now, I might be wrong with my country here. Are they different from Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, very.
All right.
Very. Like, Abu Dhabi is in the United Arab Emirates, and obviously the women had a match there, but they were in, like, basically, they were covered head to toe.
Right, they were covered head to toe, but they still had a match, right? So Dubai...
Yeah, I think, in terms, just quickly, UAE and Saudi Arabia, it's almost like night and day, if you want.
Right, okay.
There's a lot of differences there between cultural and just the way they have, like, the view, an outlook on life. I don't know if that's more so how the UAE has now become such a touristy hotbed. I don't know if that's maybe helped change their ways, but they are quite different.
Right, that's fine, because I was going to bring up the fact that Sasha fought Bayley in Abu Dhabi, and I can't remember when, but it feels like a long time ago that TNA's knockouts have been in Dubai before as well.
I think they have as well. That rings a bell.
TNA, you've confirmed that the Emirates are different from Saudi Arabia, fair enough. But the fact that WWE have already done this, they've already made a leap. I feel as if they've regressed a wee bit. Is it because, like, as Imp said, they've had a public, it is public, they've had a women's cycling race. So, cycling and wrestling, I don't know how popular each of them are in in Saudi Arabia, right? But they've already done that, so why aren't they doing it? I just feel as if it's a bit of a regression. Or is it because this is a big time and it's going to be on the network, it's going to have millions of viewers? Does that not smack of shit in the bed a wee bit? I just feel, if I know there's the whole change takes time, but the laws that Imp went through, when you read them out, I'm reading them out loud for the first time, and I'm thinking, my God, they sound extreme. If they're going to be pioneers of change, if WWE and this new monarch in Saudi Arabia, did I use the right word? Is it kings? Yeah, kings.
Yeah, he's not a king, he's a prince at the moment.
Right. If they want to be pioneers of change, then why not put the women on the show? I just don't see the problem with it. Capitalising on the success, the progress that they've made so far, the commercial attention that they've got with Rousey, with Charlotte, with Asuka.
You know, that's what my point comes back to. I don't even know if the WWE have approached them about having a women's match on it. Like, I can't answer that, because like for you, like you said, it does make sense if you've already started having these sort of women events, like we said with the cycling, etc. And obviously in a couple of months' time, women are now going to start to be able to drive, etc. So why wouldn't you now have a wrestling match on? Especially because like they're not going to go out in a normal wrestling outfits. Like, they never, in that part of the world, they never will be. It just, like I said, that's where the cultural difference comes down to. And sometimes you've just got to accept certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like if that's the way people live in a certain part of the world, then who are you to go and try and change that, or who are you to go and say, I'm not going to do that? If you're not going to live by how other people in a different country live, then you need to deal with the consequences.
Mm-hmm. So
women, obviously, will be sort of covered from head to toe. To me, it just seems, like you say, it doesn't make sense, because it goes against with everything that's starting to happen over there. Things are starting to change. To me, it just sort of seems like the WWE haven't asked about it. That's what it seems like to me, if I'm honest.
Right.
I genuinely don't have an answer for that. Like, that's the only logical thing I can think in my head. Either that, or it was agreed months and months and months ago, and WWE just don't want to go back on that. I genuinely don't know.
Just the last thing, because this is a wrestling podcast, it's not the Ricky and Clive current affairs show, so just the last thing, implications also said females may be only allowed to attend with a male, men may only be allowed to sit in the front row with a woman in their party to portray a certain picture. Now, if they're doing that, I'm just trying to think how to word this. What about this show makes me think that there's going to be a move towards incorporating women into future events, WWE?
When they go back to Saudi Arabia, do you mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm assuming, like, if they go back every year, because I read a report they are supposed to be going back every year. So you'd imagine maybe in 2019 there might be a women match on it. Mm. 2020 there might be a couple more. 2021 there might even just be nothing but women's matches on the pay-per-view. I don't know. I've also read things that say that single men and women are segregated no matter where they go.
Right.
And this event will be no different. I've read that from Reddit and on Twitter as well, that you basically, a married woman over there must, if she, like you say, if she does whatever she needs to, if she's going to go about her daily business outside of the home, she needs, like you said, permission from the husband, or the husband has to at least accommodate her to wherever she's going. And to me, it seems this is the same. I think what I've read, and this might not even be true, so we'll find out on Friday, to be honest, people, husband and wives, are sat together. Single men are sat in a different part, and apparently single women are in a different part. But the single women part, it is a bit iffy to me. So I just think it's going to be single men plus husband and wives, but they're kept separate from each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, like you said, we don't want to come on and talk about politics. Like, I don't think we've ever addressed any sort of political issue on this podcast whatsoever. It was just because of the amount of things that have been said about this show. But do you know what? The Prince of Saudi Arabia, he's actually only a couple of years older than us. It's Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and he's actually is making a lot of changes. Like, when he first came in, like, he was met with quite a bit of resistance, and I think he was just like, no, this is what we're doing, and we're going to start pushing forward. So he seems to have the mindset of the younger generation, because at the end of the day he's only 32 or 33, so he's starting to push forward with that. And like you say, change doesn't happen overnight, in the old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. This may take another 5-10 years before you eradicate everything from that country, but at least they're trying to move. On the face of it, they're trying to push forward and become more left isn't even the right word, more accepting of different sort of cultures and behaviours of people, and just sort of accepting that women have a massive role in life and in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's one final thing, like, before we move on, in fact, two final things. Like, this notion that I understand there's just a complete lack of women's right over there. Like, I understand, and I just want to hammer home, folks, that is a cultural thing and not an Islamic thing, because in Islam, the women is at the top of the mountain and us men are at the bottom. Like, you just go ahead and Google that and you'll find countless articles and countless things that corroborate that. And this isn't just me making nonsense up, and it's not just things you're going to see things from years and years and years ago. That is the way it works in Islam, that the women are at the top of the food chain and we're at the bottom, effectively. And the last thing I want to say before we move on to the wrestling is, do you know what? Fuck politics. Never want to talk about politics on this podcast again.
I just want to say, we have talked about this at length, and understandably with your religion and heritage, it's a topic you're wanting to talk about, so I get that, it's fine. And I'll sign off and saying, just like change doesn't happen overnight, neither does my mind at the moment. But you have brought on some valid points, as did implications as well. So I urge you to go over to Lords of Pain and read that. That's very thought-provoking stuff. So can I tell you why else I don't give a single shit about this greatest Royal Rumble?
Go on.
Right. We have just come off the longest pay-per-view in history. It might not have been, but it's one of, right? 3 weeks ago, is it 3 weeks ago, if that? We just had, in total, a 7-hour pay-per-view, and you've got what looks to be another massive pay-per-view with, a massive house show on the cards with Backlash fast approaching as well. Even if it's on at my time, I've not got the time to watch that. It's too long, and it's too long for something which might be inconsequential, because as far as I'm concerned, the way this shake-up has turned out, quite a few of the results are in the bag. The IC title, the US title, the Raw tag team titles. Are there any other crossover matches that you can think of off the top of your head? That seems to be it. I just think it seems to have fucked up the shake-up a wee bit, and the Superstar shake-up has happened, but there's still feuds playing out. There's going to be, in at least this Royal Rumble, right? We've already seen 4 over-the-top rope elimination winning matches this year, and the Royal Rumble, the format, the rules, it's not actually a match format that I'm a huge fan of. I zone out quite a lot during these matches. You miss a lot of the action, so it's not really a big selling point for me. You're going to have lots of part-timers coming over. It's going to last about an hour and a half of the time. I could go on. It's just hurry up. Backlash is all I'm saying.
Right. To try and make you excited or somewhat looking forward to it, we're going to get Triple H and John Cena, right? I understand you're going to say we haven't saw a great Cena match in a while, but it's still a big match. I'm still looking forward to Roman and Brock, even though it's been it's now you're sort of getting a feeling now. It's like, can we just get a conclusion on it one way or another, please? And hopefully that conclusion is with Roman winning the title. I think that Fatal 4-Way is going to be excellent for the IC title. Like, sometimes, we say some matches are quite predictable in the sense that you just know who's ultimately going to win it. I think a number of these matches have that feel, but I think let's just enjoy how they get there, because I think that Fatal 4-Way is going to be ridiculously good. What else are we looking at? I'm looking forward to Usos and Bludgeon Brothers as well. Like, I know we've got the Cruiserweight title as well.
Yep, I'd like to talk about that in a wee minute when we get to it.
Obviously, they had the Gauntlet match. We'll get on to that. I mean, I know you're not going to look forward to it, but Undertaker Rusev.
Oh my god!
My all-time favourite versus my current favourite. Let's hope the Undertaker gets buried in that casket. I'm happy to accept that on this occasion. AJ Nakamura. I don't know why, but I keep thinking maybe Nakamura's going to win the title here. I don't think he will, but in the back of my mind it's just there. Well, what if he wins it? Yeah, and like I said, for me personally, on a personal Royal Rumble, except that Royal Rumble, 50 man, a normal 30 man Royal Rumble goes on for what, about,
well, I think it was
75 minutes or something? Around about 70 minutes or so?
Yeah, Doc's Chad Matthews said on his podcast this week this one lasted an hour and 15. No, sorry, the 40 man one that was in 2011.
Right.
40 man one lasted an hour and 15. Now this one has got 10 more, so you're looking at the very least 90 minutes.
An hour and a half. I think
this is going to unfortunately this will break the record of the gauntlet match on Raw for the longest ever WWE match.
I think as well, right, I think they'll need to reduce the time in between each entrant.
Aye,
because
the ramp's massive.
That's currently they are 2 hours ahead of us, being GMT.
They're only 2 hours ahead.
They're only 2 hours ahead.
That's surprising. I thought it was more than that.
It might. I don't know if it's because of the fact that our clocks and stuff. I don't know if they have that, or when their clocks change, if the clocks ever do change. But I suppose in a sense, if you look at it on the map, for instance, like they're not from London. If you just sort of draw a line straight down, it's not as far along as you might think. If you know what I mean. It is a bit, but yeah, it's only 2. Obviously our clocks went forward recently, didn't they? So I don't know if that has a bearing on things. So, and it starts at 5 o'clock over here.
Yep, I'm
so
working.
That's a 7 o'clock start over there,
and I'm working till 6:30 that night.
So yeah, that's going to be like 5 hours. That is basically going to be like the WrestleMania main show card. I think they'll probably have to reduce, because is it 90 seconds in between each entrant at the normal Rumble?
Well, it was all over the place at this year's Royal Rumble.
It seemed like it in previous times as well. I think they've got to reduce that down to 60, and even though that might just seem like it's just the ring might fill up quickly, or you know how by the time some people make that it would get down and then you have a wee flurry and then all of a sudden the countdown starts again, so it might seem like a bit of a clusterfuck, but at the end of the day, for the most part, a lot of the Royal Rumbles feel like that anyway. 10 matches, which includes a Rumble, that is definitely going at least 5 hours. That's a long show, a long house show. But I'm looking forward to it. Think of the quality of matches you could potentially be getting.
Right, I'm looking at the list that you gratefully prepared for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3.5 matches. I think we'll have.
What's the half?
The 205 live match.
Wait, you're only kind of looking forward to that?
I'll touch on that later, right? But no, right. I'll touch on it just now then, since it's come up naturally. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, or if you haven't read my column on the 205 live review from last night on Lords of Pain and Social Suplex. Cedric Alexander will face Kalisto in Saudi Arabia on Friday, as Kalisto was the winner of the 5-man gauntlet match that took place in 205 Live last night. Very good match, I thought. It wasn't a patch at all on the Raw gauntlet match from a couple of months ago there. But it's hard to top that. That was the best performance of Seth Rollins' career. But you had 4 matches, 4 very different styles of matches, good few stories told, a few rivalries continued, a few callback rivalries. Just thought there was really good work involved all in. Mustafa Ali had a great night, Drew Gulak had a great night. Cedric Alexander doesn't do much for me. He hasn't done much for me since he won the title. And Kalisto, I'm not sure if I've heard this somewhere, but Do you know what Kalisto reminds me of? Scrappy Doo. Scrappy fucking Doo, and I'll tell you for why. The size compared to everyone else, that's not his fault, right? It's a small guy. He fights a good fight, and he does what's right for his morals or whatever, just like Scrappy Doo. He stands up to giants, but he's really annoying. And so is Scrappy Doo. Nobody really likes Scrappy Doo, really, do they?
Nah.
So,
but remember, Kalisto gave. Remember the bump with the Uso a couple of years ago, though.
We'll put it in a ladder match then.
That'll be forever his memory. That'll be his legacy. Even.
See, he had a really good program with Baron Corbin a year or so ago, and
you did enjoy that.
Bizarrely, in an amazing chairs match of all things. He had a match with Buddy Murphy a few weeks ago, which was fantastic. Like, it really was amazing. And I've been quiet about this, but considering the quality of matches that we got at WrestleMania, it was one of the best matches that I saw in that 7-day time gap area thing. I really enjoyed it. So he is good. He's been doing good stuff with the rest of the Lucha House Party, Gran Metalik and Lindsay Dorado. They've had quite an ongoing feud with Hideo Itami and Akira Tozawa. It's went on a bit too long. I think if there is going to be this rumoured cruiserweight tag team titles, they need to hurry because it's kind of slowed to a halt a wee bit. Anyway, Cedric Alexander doesn't do much for me, and despite both men having good wrestling skills, I don't want to watch Alexander versus Scrappy Doo. And it's another face v face match, and I don't think that worked well in WrestleMania. They concentrated too much on show me the heart, show me the soul, and it took away from it for me. So I'm a bit of a downer. I think I just wanted Drew Gulak was unbelievable on Wednesday night. So Tuesday night I just wanted Drew Gulak to win, and for him to win the title, and then for Mustafa and Ali to have an Austin Rock style feud to last. A feud for the ages.
That's the thing, like, kind of surprised myself that Mustafa Ali didn't win it, because then there's a whole other sort of, like, the way the angle you're trying to go over with gender. It's like, well, you actually do have a Muslim going to a Muslim country to potentially win a title.
Yeah.
Like, so from that sense, why wouldn't you? He'll obviously be in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, aye. I've actually got.
He might even win it if that's the route they want to go down.
No, it'll be Mo Hassan.
Yes.
The booking of Ali last night was actually really good. He fell off the top rope, and TJP did a sort of low-hanging drop kick to Ali's knee. This was the first match, right? And he went for his knee, the inverted knee bar, and he managed to win. And then it was Drew Gulak next, and Drew Gulak, who's the self-professed best submission specialist in WWE, he really went to town on that knee. And despite a comeback, Ali tried to go for his 054, but he couldn't climb the turnbuckle anymore because his leg was just so fucked. And Gulak took advantage of that. So it was actually... I wish Ali had the belt, I really do. But from a storyline perspective, that made perfect sense, and I don't mind it. I do mind Drew Gulak not getting through. That's what annoys me the most. Drew Gulak's the best, overall character on that show, since Neville's not there anymore.
And has been for quite some time.
Yep. Anyway, right.
So what other matches that you're looking forward to?
The IC title match, Seth, Joe, Miz and Finn. See, for a while there was a rumour that Bobby Lashley was going to be included in that, and I was going to start rioting with an empty room.
Man, that guy just feels like... what are you going to do with this guy now?
Well, exactly, because there's nothing you can do with him. He's just nothing. He's boring. He has a ceiling. And this is the problem with bringing in part-timers. I know it's not happened, but they were possibly going to shoehorn him into this Intercontinental title match, and we had a question from a Rob Tom in the Wrestling Appreciation Society group on Facebook. Rob asked, I know this is a random tangent, right? We're in tangent mode now, but what the fuck is happening to poor Cassius Ohno? What is happening to Cassius Ohno? I'll tell you what, they're signing all these big massive indie names, and because of that, Cassius Ohno, although as an indie name, he's already fallen by the wayside. The point of NXT is to be developed and pushed towards the main roster, and he's nowhere now. I know he's doing a lot of indie stuff, Progress, and he was at the Access tournament, but I want to see Cassius Ohno on my screen because of all these new people coming in. It's not happening. What do you think about Cassius Ohno?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about him.
No, well, why not?
I was never enamoured with him when he first came into NXT either.
Right, okay.
I've never, it's not a knock on wrestling wise or anything like that. Sometimes you just don't take to some people, and to be honest, I'm not really that fussed. And quite frankly, I didn't realise he wasn't on TV that often, or where he's gone. But he'll probably be in this Royal Rumble match anyway.
I think he's really good, and he actually, every single move he applies or delivers is delivered as if it was a finisher, and I just don't know why he's not getting a big push, because he's just such a devastating clubber, basically. But I just think these people, it's not just Cassius Ohno, it's a lot of people in the main roster as well. They're getting pushed to the back of the queue because they're bringing in new guys again. They keep bringing in new guys. The pecking order's been put all to shit because of all this, and it greatly upsets me.
I know you've had an issue with the part-time thing, but especially I think more than you've had an issue with veterans taking up spots where the younger guys could slide in there. Mm-hmm. But to me, and I know we sort of touched on it last week, like when you look at somebody like Jeff Hardy, if a veteran older guy could still go and still put on great matches, I couldn't care less about his age. If you can still go, then I'm going to sit back and watch and enjoy. So, like I say, guys like Jeff Hardy, etc., can still put on great matches. But, like you said, when Bobby Lashley was re-signed, I had the mentality that I was going to just sort of wait and see. And I wasn't enamoured with him when he's first run. I couldn't care less that he'd left. But when news broke he was signing with him again, I was like, right, I don't care. But I'll just sort of give the guy the benefit of doubt and just sort of wait and see. But I already have sort of a feeling that I'm not going to care that much about him now. So in that point, I'm on board with you there. So whatever push or potential push or whatever spot he's going to get, surely that could have gone to someone else. But yeah, I don't have too much to add on to the end of that.
Right.
But I genuinely think that the card on Friday on paper, it seems like a right good card.
The other matches that I'm looking forward to are Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos. I know that the Bludgeon Brothers have been this dominating force, but from some form of shenanigans, I've just lost my train of thought entirely. So one of the Usos won in SmackDown this week, didn't they? They beat Rowan.
Yep. Yeah.
But that was with a bit of help and distraction from Naomi.
Yep. She came down dancing.
And I was going to say, maybe Naomi can help the Usos at the week on Friday, but no, they can't.
Maybe.
No.
Oh, that's right.
See, now you know why I lost my train of thought.
No, I saw a tweet last week and someone says when Naomi came down to protect the Usos that the Bludgeon Brothers should have just picked her up and carried her away.
All right.
I don't know if obviously in the world we live in, how that would have been portrayed and how people that took to that, but storyline wise, I think that added just so much to it.
And I wouldn't have been offended if Bludgeon Brothers done that. They are very much a sort of World of Warcraft kind of team. Mm-hmm. So their motive is
in that in turn, even if you never appeared this week or she appeared on the screen or some, I don't know, whatever, that in turn would have you would have pissed the Usos off even more from a storyline aspect, so they'd begin into the match at the Greatest Royal Rumble even more pissed off, and therefore you're thinking, well, here we go, maybe they are going to get it, or maybe they might end up winning by DQ just because of that annoyed. They might start attacking with chairs or ladders or anything like that. So
and see,
I don't know, I just thought it was a nice wee twist to it.
I would have been up for that, because see, sometimes you've just got to 100% embrace kayfabe, and Bludgeon Brothers are walking about with mallets. So if they took Naomi away and hid her, and if turned into some, I'm going down a random road, but if it was like they kept her up in the castle and they had to fight through the labyrinth of monsters to get them, then I would have been fine with that. But I'm still wanting that matchup that they had when it was the Wyatts versus the Usos in 2015. I want a good match, but this is a stacked card, so I'm not sure if we're going to get a good match. We might need to wait till Backlash for that. The other match is AJ versus Nakamura that I'm looking forward to, especially with the change in Nakamura at the moment. So, the only thing about the card and the amount of matches, etc., is that you feel like you're not going to get. There's going to be at least maybe 2 or 3 matches that aren't going to be that very long. And let's not forget, if this is a big stadium, it's going to be a big long ramp, and we've got an Undertaker entrance to deal with and an exit to deal with, unless Rusev puts him in the casket.
Yeah, and like I said, 10 matches. I can maybe see the Bludgeon Brothers and Usos not lasting very long. I can maybe see Taker and Rusev lasting about 5 minutes. I can see. Let me see. Maybe Jeff and Jinder lasting about 6-7 minutes, with Jinder winning.
Why is one of the Singh brothers like still antagonising Randy Orton? Why is that happening? I mean, this happened at the Shake Up last year, where Mahal.
Did he get moved over to Raw as well though? I can't even remember.
He must have, unless that was the injured one.
No, well, he's still not back.
Aye, right. So, but why? Because Jinder, right? Randy Orton, big continuity error. Randy Orton had a chance at winning the US title. That's not. Was it mentioned last night on SmackDown?
I can't remember.
So I would be fine if it was Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton for the US title, but Sunil Singh comes down and like distracts Randy. What on earth is that for?
I don't know. It makes sense. But I think we just need to sort of get the event on Friday and Backlash out of the way, and then you'll start to see a bit of continuity and sort of new storylines playing out, etc. And just sort of as soon as we get these inter-brand storylines out of the way. Do
you think there will be any? So you think that there's a possibility of AJ winning, Nakamura winning? It's
just in the back of my head. I don't really envision it, if I'm honest. I don't think he will. But it just wouldn't shock me if he did, though.
What about the Universal title? You dead set on Roman Reigns getting the Universal title?
I'd be absolutely stunned if Roman didn't win it.
Well, I was probably thinking the same thing the nights before WrestleMania, that I would be stunned if Roman didn't win it, so I would not be surprised at all if Brock wins. I think I've just got it in my head and it's going to be Roman that ends the Brock feud, the run. So I'm just like, right, if it doesn't happen now, so if Brock wins and then all of a sudden they announce a rematch for Backlash, I will say the exact same thing next week. I will be stunned if Roman doesn't win. I've just got in my head that it's going to be Roman that ends the run. See, it's a cage match as well. Sorry, guys, but the cage match is really outdated in today's world. I don't care about a cage match at all. And I believe Carl from Outsider's Edge is of the same opinion. The Universal title doesn't exist right now. Big if, and when Roman wins it, then I'll think, right, okay, good. It's back on a full-timer. And I know that there's this full-timer, part-timer argument, but at the end of the day, the sort of structure and order to Raw, it took a battering with the Superstar Shake-Up, it needs to have some sort of semblance of order semblance, or whatever the term is to it again, and that will only happen when you've got the Universal title back. Excuse me. So when that happens, then I'll concentrate on what's going on.
To touch on the cage match, like, what is the concept of a cage match? Like, you two, male or females, hate each other, so we're going to fight inside a cage that doesn't have a roof on it, and it's got a door on it, and it's like, oh well, you can still get out of it, so you're not really locked in the cage.
I think.
Do you see where I'm coming from? Like, to me, it doesn't make sense. Should you not just replace that with a Hell in Cell match where you've got nowhere to literally run? And for me, I really hope we don't sort of do like a shitty finish in that match where they sort of want to protect Brock, where you just have Roman escape the cage and he wins it. Because that still leaves him vulnerable to sort of in promos where people say, well, you never really slayed the beast, you just ran away from him, you just somehow, like, you know, you ran out and escaped, and you ran away with the title sort of thing. I would rather you just got a clean 1, 2, 3.
Imagine Brock was sort of sandwiched in between the ropes and the cage. Roman speared them, and they both, the cage sort of collapsed, and they both went out at the same time. So it was a no contest, and the rivalry continues.
Right, so we've got a casket match, we've got a cage match, is the IC match and a ladder match.
Mm-hmm.
Is that confirmed? So you've got 3 gimmicky matches right there on one pay-per-view or one event. I think the reason why they've done that is because they just want to the gimmick matches or whatever, just bring a general a little bit extra excitement, sort of, because there might be a little bit more chaos ensued. So they might be thinking that if we advertise those, we might bring in more viewers in Saudi Arabia or whatever. But the cage match, I don't care. There's only a couple of gimmick type matches I actually do like, and even a casket match is just so out of date.
It's 1992 all over again. Like,
back then it was excellent, but now it's like, for me, it's Hell in a Cell. The ladder match itself can make sense, that's fine. Submission matches, we don't even see submission matches anymore.
I prefer singles ladder matches.
Mm-hmm.
These spot monkey addictions are just a bit too much at the moment, and I would like to see a bit more one-on-one ladder matches again. Because look at what Seth and Dean did a couple of years ago.
And I think I don't know if this ladder match have like too many spots, because you've not exactly got like loads of high flyers in it either. But
well,
for me, let's say overall excitement for watching the wrestling we might see excites me. And the added bonus is that we're not staying up till stupid o'clock to watch it.
Mm-hmm. See, there's just a lot. I've got the ICW, I've got a pay-per-view on Sunday night as well, so I've already got a lot of wrestling to watch over the next week and a bit, and I'm not really up for watching a whole 6 hours of something that I'm really not. I mean, Triple H and Cena, what is that all about? That
was just, again, it's just a random match, but it's one of those ones that to me it just sort of seems like we're going to Saudi Arabia, we want to make this a big deal, so we'll bring in all the heavy hitters, and it doesn't, like, you say what you want about these two guys, but that's as big as it can get, really.
In fact,
like, you're not going to get too many matches bigger than that, like, in terms of names brand anyway.
See, when you look at the card, that's actually one of the lowest anticipated on the show, for me anyway.
Just because it's one of those ones that, and it's just for me, it's just because it's been thrown in there because of our names. There's been no real actual build to it, because there's not going to be any real consequences or anything like that, or storyline wise coming out of it. So it's just one of those one-off matches they're going to have, and they won't bother mentioning it again. But when you look at it, the vast majority of the matches, probably 7, I would say 7 out of the 10 are going to have some sort of storyline coming out of it.
So you think there will be an impact on canon of WWE?
Say that again, sorry?
You think it will have an impact on the sort of overall story of WWE that they're trying to tell?
No, definitely. I just wish the Royal Rumble meant something. Like I do all the time, like the ones that have at WrestleMania, the Battle Royals. I would just wish this meant something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said at the WrestleMania review podcast that even if those Battle Royals meant that if like you would get a title shot of the US title or the IC title for the men, and if it was women, obviously don't have like a lower mid card title, so you would just get a title shot of the women's title. Even if it was something like that, I don't know, or if a Raw member win, then they get to take anyone from SmackDown that they wish, and vice versa, or whatever. Because you had to shake up the following week. Just add something to the Battle Royal at WrestleMania, and add something to this Royal Rumble, even if it means that you get a mid card title shot. Like, just make it that little bit more interesting, where people are going to be actually emotionally invested in it. Because, like I said, if you're not, like for me, I'll look forward to it just because it's a Royal Rumble. But like you said, it's a meaningless match, really.
I know, a meaningless match that's going to be on for 90 minutes. That's horrendous. Do you think there will be... So you think Jinder's going to win the US title? Is that a serious answer?
No, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but...
Right. So do you think then that the IC title might swap as well?
No, I don't think... I think the only title change will be Roman Reigns.
Right.
And if gun to my head, I would say if I had to choose anyone else, I'd maybe go Nakamura. So yeah, like the Bar are not winning the titles, we know that. Because we're getting Seth and Miz next week on Backlash as well, are we not?
No, Seth and... are we? Oh, aye. I was getting confused there. It's Seth and Miz at Backlash. And...
So unless they do Miz wins on Friday and then Seth wins it back the following week?
No, that's too much carry on.
That's what they kind of do, though.
Speaking of Miz, it's quite strange with him not having a title on his waist or on his shoulder, but it looks like it's very early days. But do you think they're planning for a big, massive match with Daniel Bryan?
Oh, I don't. I might have mentioned it last week or the week before. I understand the desire to make the other pay-per-views between WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series and the Royal Rumble, the desire to make those pay-per-views in between all of them to seem very important. I understand that desire. But there's just certain matches that are made for certain pay-per-views. Like, I love the fact that you put Roman Reigns and John Cena on a quote-unquote B pay-per-view just to sort of make it seem like you must tune in to every single pay-per-view or every week because these are the kind of matches you're going to get to see. Like, from that, fine, I understand where you're coming from. So, I just hope they don't give us Daniel Bryan and The Miz on one of these lower card pay-per-views. Like, that to me is... I think you can drag that out now with the involvement with Cass out to SummerSlam. And that's where I think it could take place. And I think I mentioned it last week, I'm not sure, but you could always have Daniel Bryan and The Miz having a lifetime feud, just in a similar sense that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn did. Just whenever they used to come across each other's path, They used to just beat the living hell out of each other, and you could do that with Daniel Bryan and The Miz.
This, you're right, this is a lifetime feud, and it goes way back before this work shoot promo that they both, that Miz shot, talking smack, before his programme with Dolph Ziggler. It goes way longer than that, because you had the whole thing with NXT when it was the reality-based programme, and The Miz was Daniel Bryan's mentor. They've locked horns many times since then as well. When it was the Nexus versus WWE at SummerSlam, The Miz was supposed to be in that 14-man tag match, but was replaced by Daniel Bryan.
Yep.
It's been a lot of stuff, but even before that, these guys are exact opposite of each other in every single way. Daniel Bryan made a name for himself by being first and foremost an amazing wrestler. The Miz made a name for himself by wanting to be in front of the camera, right? He did want to do wrestling, which is fair enough, but he did it again through a reality-based programme. Daniel Bryan I know Daniel Bryan ended up in NXT, but that was all part of the product. He had to fight tooth and claw to get there, with his pedigree and all the many companies that I can't even name off the top of my head, but specifically Ring of Honor. It's basically you've got a professional wrestler, one of the best professional wrestlers, versus one of the best sports entertainers. And if you love WWE, then you do love sports entertainment, and that's why finally The Miz is basically universally accepted by one and all, and why the journey that these two guys have had from way back before they even met. It's I'm going to quote myself, one of the column titles I had with Seth and Jason Jordan: when opposites attract, worlds collide. And this is what's happening here, and it could result in an absolutely mammoth storyline between these two that could be. I put on Twitter during the weekend, I daydreamed a promo between the two of them. So the Miz would bring up the whole bingo hall stuff, wrestling in front of the bingo halls, and Daniel Bryan could retort by saying, yeah, those bingo hall matches, they've probably had more views on YouTube than your Marine films have had. And I just sort of laughed in my head and thought that would be it. Yes, I amused myself with that one. But stuff like that, these guys could promo for a long time. They could wrestle for a long time. And if the Big Cass is the foil in the meantime, it's not been officially announced that Cass will be the Miz's muscle. But if they're going to... I can accept what Big Cass said now. The reasons for Big Cass being included in this, because if it's true that Daniel Bryan's medical clearing was said at the same time, the same day as Big Cass's, and all the talk was about Daniel Bryan and not Big Cass, then I totally understand where they're coming from, and that's good storytelling. I saw there was a bit of chatter of Big Cass's promo last night. It was alright. He came across articulate. There was still a lack of there was something missing there. It was better than he's spoken before, I'll give him that much. And what he did say, there was a truth to that, so I can accept, it was fine. Wasn't the best promo I've seen of the year. But I can be patient, and I will be patient. If it means that we're going to get Daniel Bryan and The Miz at SummerSlam, for instance, then I'm all for it.
You know, just to quickly touch on two things you said. I don't know. I would take credit for the idea, right? But I want to say Rich said it in one of his columns. So I would let's say, you know, you'd have Daniel Bryan and Miz having an ongoing storyline, a feud like Kevin Owens and Sami had. So even if you have a match at WrestleMania, at SummerSlam, say later on, maybe it's Survivor Series or Royal Rumble or one of the pay-per-views in between it, you could potentially have Daniel Bryan, say, taking on AJ or whoever. Daniel Bryan goes to cover 1, 2, and the ref gets pulled out, and it's a Miz standing there just sort of laughing. And it turns around to like a Styles Clash or a Phenomenal Forearm and loses a match. And then you could sort of reignite that feud again, or you just have that continual running. And I don't know if Rich said that in his column, because it was me that posed the question to him: how would you book Daniel Bryan's next 12 months? And I think that's what he basically said. He sort of played out a plan that heavily involved Daniel Bryan and The Miz.
He also said give him the belt and have him beat everyone. Do you not remember that bit? Shout out to Hardcore Holly for that one.
Yeah. So I kind of like that idea, and I like what you said as well. It really is like two complete opposite people, and that's what's making it. That's what makes it a little bit more excitement as well.
They are the best. They are the best at their game.
I think also to touch on Cass, a couple of things about him. His promo was fucking lit. I fucking loved that promo, I must admit.
It was good. It's just it didn't set my world alight.
No, I don't know if it's because how poor his promos have been that my expectations are that low, but I really, really enjoyed it. And in terms of what you're saying, he came across as very articulate. Well, the guy was supposed to become a doctor as well, so he obviously has that kind of education. So in that sense, you wonder maybe why the promos don't come across very well if he can speak so well, if you know what I mean. But I thoroughly enjoyed that promo.
I think there was truth in what he felt truth in what he was saying. He probably did feel annoyed that Daniel Bryan was getting all these plaudits and stuff.
Maybe. I think also I played out a scenario last week that to yourself and Imp, and you both seemed to like it, that I would have Cass employed as Miz's muscle, and ultimately Daniel Bryan has to get through Cass in order to get to the Miz. Whether they go that way, I don't know. Early signs suggest that they might not, but that could obviously change. But to me, it's a case right now, just looking at it, you could now build a storyline that you two, as in the Cass and Miz, have a mutual enemy, and that's where your bond comes into it, and that's where your team forms, that you have this one person that you both don't like, and that's why you are together. Mm-hmm. Not fully together, not his muscle, but just have a hatred for a mutual enemy, and from that we'll come together. So we shall see. And obviously you had the segment with Daniel Bryan being attacked backstage, so that will obviously lead to something else. I would imagine this coming Friday, if Daniel Bryan is in the Royal Rumble, which I assume he will be, there will be some sort of involvement or some sort of moment or segment with him and Miz or him and Cass. I would kind of like it if you got Daniel Bryan and Miz to sort of face off, and then all of a sudden Cass comes in with a big boot and tosses Daniel Bryan out or something like that. Just to sort of continue the heat on him, and just sort of to continue that feeling that, or the tease that are these two guys teaming together, or it's just a case of well done, you got rid of him because we both have this common enemy. But I'm not going to start singing his praises straight away. Like, I've not been that high on him before. I'll give him credit when credit's due. Mm-hmm. I'm not like, we're both not the kind of people who are going to be like, fuck, he done well, damn it, we're going to sound like idiots. No, like, if he does something well, then you give him credit, and I enjoyed that promo, and we'll see what comes of it now.
I hold my hands up. I wasn't entirely sold on the promo, but I am sold on him being included in this rivalry if it leads to Daniel Bryan versus The Miz, and it makes perfect sense for The Miz. He's been a coward for a lot of his career. He's never really, when all is said and done, been able to best Daniel Bryan. I'm fondly thinking about that match that they had. It was a triple threat submission, like submissions count anywhere match with Johnny Morrison as well. Mm-hmm. Just the enjoyable chaos of that match, but he's never really been able to beat him. So, as I was saying, this is a very much I think this would be something that would be worth looking into for maybe a future column, actually, if I'm going to put myself over. Sports entertainer versus professional wrestler, and like how amazing this is, because if The Miz can't deal with Bryan's wrestling, then he will get the biggest obstacle he can find, and that's Big Cass. So Big Cass is, if they do a line properly, then I'm fine with it. I hold my hands up. I was a bit heavy-handed with my criticism of Cass last week. He needs to get a suit that fits him though, because the sleeves were riding up him big time last night.
and now we've touched on Cass and Miz. There's obviously a similar situation happened over in Rob with Ziggler and Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
That promo they cut at the end of that match. Now that was fucking special. That was excellent.
Yep. That was good.
Drew really is the chosen one.
there might be a bias from us.
I'd probably, because it's the whole Scottish thing, but I don't think so, because I think his in-ring work's very, very good. As a heel, he's excellent. He's an excellent heel. I really like what him and Dolph are doing. I would like to see this go on a little bit longer as well. That could be something that we can maybe see them having a tag titles or something. But for me, there's definitely definitely a place for Drew McIntyre to be in the main event. I think he's that damn good.
Oh, that's very high praise there.
Oh, I think he's damn good. And I think there was a reason why he initially was Vince's chosen one. I think there was, maybe it just happened too soon for him at that time. I don't know, but I think he's very, very good. I like to say that could be the Scottish bias coming through it. It may well be, but like I say, I like his work. I enjoy his work in NXT. Obviously, been in Impact, etc. when he left WWE, so he's done some good stuff. And like I said, I'm really, really enjoying the chemistry him and Dolph have got.
I thought he cut before his match with Bobby Roode at the summer NXT last year. He cut one of the best babyface promos I've seen.
Oh yes, I remember.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember it.
So, and he's not even a babyface at the moment, so he's a heel. So I'm excited, and I can't believe I'm saying I'm excited about something with Dolph Ziggler going on at the moment, but it'll be interesting to see where that goes. I think they need some sort of anchor, some main heel who's already established in the Raw tag scene. The Raw tag team scene has looked not even threadbare, just not credible, because the Revival have been booked into obscurity. Not even obscurity, just booked to look very weak. And I think I was able to pinpoint why I've been upset with how the Revival have been treated. In NXT, they were, and they probably will be the best tag team that NXT will ever get. And that was down to their in-ring IQ, right? So their sort of wherewithal, ring awareness, and their just general intelligence. They look like fucking idiots on Raw. Like, they look as if they've been blindsided. They don't see tags coming in when they were the masters of blind tags and stuff like that. And they looked... I'm not going to go down the Raw 25 road again, but they fell victim to the sort of silliness of Wyatt and Hardy. I know they're doing fun stuff, but it is silly. So that's what annoys me about how the Revival have been booked. They don't look clever or smart anymore.
All I will say to you is their time will come.
Better.
It will come. Like, they're just so good. Was it Gargano Ciampa, I believe? They were both in the submission holds, and they were sort of like facing one another, and they were grabbing hands to prevent each other from tapping out. They're just little things, that's not stupid, sorry. Little moments like that, you just sit up and realise just the genius of it, and it's like, that's unbelievable. Like, you don't really see that, and you know, like, don't worry, as the old saying goes, the cream always rises to the top. Like, their time will come. The time just isn't right now, but their time will come. I expect come SummerSlam time for them to either have the titles or just about to win the titles round about SummerSlam. Might seem a long way away, but it is only a few months away, and I think I would probably envision it would be them that beat Matt and Bray for the titles, maybe. Like I said, I don't think it's too far away, and I think that their time will eventually come.
Do you know what I'm worried about? The Revival, for me, were a very serious team. They're going to end up going in that lake of reincarnation. And then they'll come out. They'll come out as the mechanics. They better not do that.
No, I don't think you should be worried about them.
Right, we're talking about Drew McIntyre. We ended up talking about the Lake of Reincarnation.
I mean, I don't know if much else happened on Raw for me to sit and discuss it.
Raw was a wee bit of a snooze fest, was it not?
A little bit. No, I mean, there were parts of it I enjoyed. Like, I think I saw some people saying stuff like, is Ronda actually going to wrestle a match on Raw and stuff like that, and it's like, calm down, it'll come. Let her learn, let her get comfortable in her surroundings first. The more I see Ember Moon, the more I love her, wrestling wise. Like, I've loved her on NXT, and it's just, we spoke about her last week. It's like, I really enjoyed watching her again on Raw.
Who's that, sorry?
Ember Moon.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's not a great deal to discuss, to be honest, about Raw, I don't think.
There's been reports that when they're doing the European tour, that Ronda Rousey will be having a programme with Mickie James. So that'll be...
But and that makes sense, obviously, what's happening over there. And the fact that she's coming on the European tour shows you how serious she is and she wants to be a part of this. And Mickey's a hell of a good worker and she's experienced, so you're going to learn from her. So they're doing the right thing there. And then just sort of, like I say, for me, not too much else happened there on Raw. And then on SmackDown, Nakamura came across as an absolute killer, I thought, at the end, that end segment of that tag match. Anderson was just heroic as well when he came in and dived in front of AJ so he would get hit with Kinshasa, and then Nakamura hit it again right in front of AJ, and I thought that was beautiful stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've touched on Usos and Bludgeon Brothers, we've touched on the Miz, etc. So
Chad Gable.
We've obviously got Chad Gable. We also got the contract signing for Charlotte and Carmella as well.
What are your thoughts on Carmella now?
Just I don't think I'm ever going to be enamoured with her wrestling ability. Promo wise, I think she does fine. I think her promos are good.
Aye.
She can talk. She definitely can talk. I don't hate her. I just don't. Just put the title on Charlotte, please.
I think she's good. I think she doesn't have the wrestling acumen as this person, but she is reminiscent of Edge, who likes to ruin things for people. He's the ultimate opportunist. So the things that she's done, look at the stuff that Edge did. He cashed in on Cena. She cashed in on Carmella. She ruined Nikki Bella's return to action and stuff like that. There's a few others I can't remember off the top of my head, but she reminds me of Edge in his early days.
I don't hate her or anything, but I just love Charlotte that much, and I just, just keep the title on her forever.
I'm glad to see, we've mentioned Chad Gable there, I'm glad to see that he was involved in something. I was worried that he was just going to be brought over just for the sake of it, and let's be honest, we are going to have to get used to, on a 3-hour Raw, there's going to be a gender segment at least once a week.
Definitely.
So if this leads up to a Chad gender rivalry, then please give Chad the Indian title or whatever it is.
Indian title.
And let Chad take the belt and beat everyone.
Yeah, I think, like you say, that's one thing of it, positive about it. If they do go down the gender Chad route, then whatever you want to say about gender, at least we're going to get to see Chad on at least on consecutive weeks anyway. I think for me, what was kind of interesting as well was we had the backstage segment with the Miz. Sorry, not the Miz. With Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas trying to join up with Seth. It'll be interesting to see where we go with them. I was kind of, just off the top of my head right now, kind of wondering would they ever pair him up with a returning Jason Jordan, but it's like, damn, who would be the mouthpiece there? But and it's like, would Jason even need that, or was that going to do any of them any sort of benefit? But it'll be interesting to see what they do with them, because it's a shame, because even though they may not have wrestled that much, but they found that they were involved on a weekly basis. They were in storylines, they were relevant again, and it's just like, surely you can find a decent spot for them as well, because like I said, I enjoyed them when they were a part of the Mr. Raj as well. They definitely served their purpose.
Aye, Bo Dallas was looking sharp the last couple of months. Even though it was an awful fashion sense, but that fashion sense was nailed to a T, so fair play to the man.
I actually like Curtis Axel's jacket he was wearing, to be honest.
You like you do enjoy your fashion. It was an odd week for TV. They were on sort of rubbish go-home show mode, I think, and there's going to be another go-home show mode soon with Backlash. But
next week.
When is Backlash?
May 5th. Is it 5th? Well, it's a week and Sunday. 10 days' time.
That's a bank holiday for us, isn't it?
Yep, the following day it is indeed.
Oh, nice one. That's very good, actually. Right.
Finally, Vince was thinking about us when he organises a pay-per-view.
Bank holidays, pal. God damn it. Anything else you want to touch on this week?
I don't think so. I think we touched on it all. Saudi Arabia, Royal Rumble, Raw, SmackDown. No, I don't think so.
Okay. If I remember correctly, there is a really big match on NXT this week, and I can't for the life of me remember what it is right now. That's shocking. Anyway, shall we... That was really pointless saying that, wasn't it? Shall we end the show with the quiz then?
Yes.
Okay.
It's fucking quiz time with Ricky and Clive and friends. A fucking WWE quiz.
Right, so this week's theme, the quiz theme is...
So, excuse me.
Excuse me!
Before... Let me get my game face on. Before we continue with the quiz, I just have a couple of things I need to say. First of all, Josh Smith badmouthed us on the Kiss episode a couple of weeks ago. Fuck Josh.
Right.
I'm kidding.
Aye, you are getting us sacked from Social Suplex in no time at all here.
No, I'm joking. But anyway, to Josh, Jeremy, and I believe it was Rich was there, third band member. They put out a challenge to us to do a WWE team quiz. We accepted. So, and we're just waiting on you guys to give us a date and step up. So we await the date and time, and we will be there. Not
right. We need to agree a date and time as well.
Absolutely, but we figuratively we won't actually literally be there because there's like a little bit of water separating us. But a date and time, and we'll have this friendly competition. Right.
So a couple of points. First of all, Josh, I profusely apologise for the disgraceful attack on you by my colleague. Secondly, we need to agree on the date and time as well. It's not just up to them. We'll need to iron out a lot of itinerary, who's going to do the quiz, how the format's going to be, potential Skype issues. So we will look into that, and ladies and gents, just to sort of confirm, in the future there will be a sort of Social Suplex quiz special. Look forward to that. And again, sorry Josh. Right, so...
And also, obviously, we need to get a third. We will need to get a third man to join our team. We already have that person, but we don't want to disclose that just yet.
Yeah.
We'll keep that secret. We'll keep those guys sweating a little bit.
Right, okay. Oh, that's right. They don't know who it is, do they?
No, they don't.
Right. It's our third guest, our third person is Mr. Wikipedia. Yay!
It is Vincent Kennedy McMahon himself.
Oh, he doesn't know bugger all.
Oh, he really doesn't, does he?
No. God damn it, pal. Right. So, this week's quiz theme is... I have to sort of explain it a wee bit. It doesn't roll off the tongue. It's basically... I'm going to give you the initials of wrestlers, including their sort of nickname. Like now you've got Phil the Power Taylor from darts.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be PTPT, right? So I'm going to give you an acronym of a wrestler's sort of nickname, the sort of endearing moniker that they're given, and you've got to guess who that person is. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples, right?
So like SC, SA would be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yes, right. So
Right, okay.
HBK would be
Razor Ramon.
BTBB would be, right, so there's going to be quite a few T's in this. So BT is the, right, so BTBB, this isn't part of the actual quiz.
BT...
B
TB.
Bravo, Tango, Bravo, Bravo.
Ah, right. That would be... I have no idea.
Well,
What the hell is that?
Right, it's Brutus the
Yeah,
Barber.
go for it, just tell me.
Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Ah, right, okay.
Right, so you know the premise
okay.
of the quiz, right?
Yep, let's go.
Right, number 1, SCSA.
S what?
SCSA.
Steve Austin.
Right, so it's a few easyish ones to get you sort of in the mood. Number 2, BTHH.
BTHH.
Yep.
BTHH.
Yep. I can give you clues if you want.
No, why not?
Right, so this person was part of a family in wrestling.
Was part of a what, sorry?
A family.
Oh, jeez, man. How did I not get this? Like my second all-time favourite, Bret Hart.
The full name, please.
Oh, Bret the Hitman Hart.
Number 3, J or J, T-A-N.
N for... No.
November, yep.
J-T-A-N.
If you ever want a clue, just ask.
J-T-A-N.
Oh, this could end up being a long night.
I know, so just give me a clue.
He was also in a family.
Natalia's da.
Natalia's da. Hashtag Natalia's da. So what's the full name?
Jim the Anvil Made Hard.
Okay, right. Next one. J or J, T-S-R.
J-T-S-R.
Mm-hmm.
The man that walked out with a snake.
Please just say the names.
Oh, jeez, oh, Jake the Snake. Roberts.
Right. G-T-H-V.
G-T-H-V.
Yeah.
G-T-H-V. Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Yes, who is a cousin of Glasgow Rangers legend George the Hammer Alberts.
So many people won't get that reference.
I know. Right. Next one. D. So it's D for Delta. D-T-A-B.
D-T-A-B.
Mm-hmm.
D-T-A-B.
Clue is this person has also had a career in Hollywood.
Also had a career in Hollywood.
Yep. Would you like another clue?
No, yeah, I suppose, yeah.
There have been rumours of this person coming back.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Who the hell, what wrestlers in Hollywood?
Well,
Coming back.
There aren't many. There are 3 that I can think of right now.
Aye, The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck else is there?
Do you want another clue?
Aye.
See, sometimes I worry about the dead air on these quiz segments, but I like to think
It's fine. People were thinking along with us unless they got the answer straight away and think we're just really dumb.
They're either along with us or they're shouting at their phones, "It's fucking Jim the Anvil Neidhart."
Jeremy and Josh are just laughing at us, knowing that they're going to absolutely wipe the floor with us.
I know. Not if I give them this round, this theme. Right, another clue. He has been in a Bond film.
Ah, Dave the Animal Bautista.
Bautista.
Who was the third one you were talking about?
The third one?
The third wrestler you can think of in Hollywood?
Cena?
Oh, I assumed it was like former wrestlers who weren't wrestling anymore.
Yes, that guy's name is John, the goal of him, Cena. Right, it's going to get a wee bit hard now. So, RDJJ.
RDJJ. RDJJ.
Mm-hmm.
RDJJ.
Would you like a clue?
Yes, please.
This person currently has a backstage role at WWE.
God, man. I won't do well in this quiz when we're going to have with these guys from Kiss.
Do you want another clue?
It's the pressure of the moment.
Would you like another clue?
Yes, please.
In our archives of podcasts way before Social Suplex, this person, we did an Urdu rendition of their theme song.
Oh yes, Road Dogg.
Right, well done, Jesse James.
Yep.
Next one, right, BSKN. Bravo.
N for November.
Yeah, Bravo Sierra Kilo November. Would you like a clue?
Yeah, why not?
This was not their name in WWE.
Oh, jeez.
So it was a WCW person. And then, after all the invasion stuff came back and all that. Bravo Sierra Kilo November. I nearly said the surname there.
I can't think.
Would you like another clue?
Yeah, why not?
Finger poke of doom.
Damn, how did I not get this?
Who is it?
What were the initials again, sorry?
Oh, for God's sake. BSKN. You just said, how did I not get this? You don't...
I know. I'm trying to think what the name was.
Oh, for God's sake.
It was Nash.
Right. Do you not know the full name?
No. What was his name?
Big Sexy Kevin Nash.
Big Sexy Kevin Nash. Jeez.
Number 9. Right. Careful here.
Okay.
And to speed things along, think of the same clues I've just given you. HHH.
Hogan.
Well done.
Or is that a trick question? You want me to say Triple H?
No. It's Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Right, number 10. I don't know if this is actually his real name, right? But this might get quite the pop from your good self, Ricky.
Rusev.
BTSB.
What was that? BT.
SB. I'm going to check if this is actually his name or it's just something that we saw on the internet one time. I will start giving you clues in a wee second. As his name. Right, do you want some clues?
Yeah, BTSB.
Right, his mother was involved in an awful and infamous angle in WCW.
His mother?
Yes. Another clue for you if you'd like it.
Because I was not a WCW watcher back in the day.
Aye, but you've watched the Monday Night Wars.
I know. Was she in that then?
Mm-hmm. Do you want another clue?
I watched that years ago. Right, go on.
They are, well, as far as I'm aware, they are now a gigolo.
They?
He. Legit. You know the answer, don't you?
Yes. Buff. The stuff. Bagwell.
Oh, Buff the Stuff Bagwell.
Oh, we're so going to lose this quiz.
I know, we are doomed.
I can't handle it's the pressure of the situation that gets to me.
I know. But we need to iron out the details. It's going to, like, a lot of thought will need to go into this one.
I know.
Do
you know what would be quite funny? If because obviously they've got their 3-man team lined up with Jeremy, Josh, and Rich. If Rich done a Hogan and turned on Jeremy and Josh, and it turned out he was our third member. So just putting a bit of element of doubt in their minds at the moment.
Oh.
Cause some friction between the three of them.
It could also be possible. It might have happened already.
Yeah, exactly. You just never know.
You do not. Did you like that wee quiz though?
It was good. It was something completely different.
Aye. That could be one for the future. So that's us, brings us to the end of our show. You can follow us at Ricky and Clive on Twitter and Facebook. Please make sure to rate and review the Social Suplex podcast network on the app of your choice, places like Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. On that network, you've got all the top quality shows, including Josh and Jeremy's Keepin It Strong Style. We love you, Josh, we really do. At least one of us does. Covering all things New Japan. Rance and Carl's Outsider's Edge, Rich Latta's One Nation Radio. Shout out to James Boyd, who's taken a bit of a hiatus from WWE at the moment, and to be honest, I don't blame him. Check out Rich's most recent podcast. He had an interview with Tampa Bay's newly crowned champion Troy Hollywood, who Rich believes could be one for the future, so check that out. Lastly, there is Caleb Baldwin's new show, The Wrestling Watch, The Wrestling Wash. That's going to cover everything at TNA and, apologies again, Impact. Redemption they had recently was quite a successful and well-acclaimed pay-per-view, so check that out. There's also all the podcast... Fucking hell, I'm having a nightmare now. Check out all the columns on socialsuplex.com. There is a function to subscribe. socialsuplex.com/subscribe, where you can get immediate access to the columns and podcasts via your email inbox. I think I covered everything eventually. I stumbled through it all. You get any shout-outs?
Just as usual, shout out to everyone in Social Suplex. Everyone keep reading the columns, keep downloading. Josh knows it's just friendly banter between myself and him that I'm going to clearly regret once we lose this quiz. And shout out to Jordan Fox as well. He is also a member. I think he still writes for us on Social Suplex. And also next week we are potentially having 2 guests on for us next week as well.
Yep.
And one of them's a big one.
One of them is Wrestling Squares Circle Facebook group. If you've not joined it yet, please do. It is really good. Lots of discussion on there. Polls, funny topics. There's usually a live thread for Raw and SmackDown and pay-per-views, which I'm never able to be a part of because it's on during my sleeping time. But I do contribute as much as I can.
Stupid o'clock.
Stupid o'clock. It's not stupid to them.
No, it is for us though. It is for us.
Aye, so there is that. I think that's us. Thank you for listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show once again, and we will speak to you next week.
Take care, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Podcast. We'll see you next time.